One of Vercept's co-founders was offered $250 million by Meta to leave the company. And then Anthropic acquired what was left. That acquisition announced yesterday is Anthropic's second ever. And it's aimed squarely at making Claude able to see your screen, click buttons, and operate software like a human. Meanwhile, Nous Research just dropped Hermes Agent, an open-source autonomous agent with a multi-level memory system that lets it actually learn from its own past work. Two major moves in the same week, both attacking the same core limitation: AI agents that forget everything and can't interact with the real world. Let's get into it. Nous Research, the lab behind the Hermes family of open-weight models, released Hermes Agent today, an open-source autonomous agent built in Python that tackles what might be the most frustrating problem in agentic AI: memory decay. If you've used any coding agent for more than a few hours, you know the pattern. The agent does great work for the first hour. By hour 4, it's starting to miss instructions. By hour 8, the context window is so packed with tool outputs, stale reasoning traces, and old API responses that the model is effectively ignoring half of what you gave it. And if you start a new session tomorrow to solve a similar problem, the agent has zero recollection of what it did yesterday. It starts completely fresh, every time. Hermes Agent attacks this with what Nous calls a multi-level memory system. When the agent completes a complex task, debugging a microservice, optimizing a pipeline, setting up an infrastructure component, it synthesizes that experience into a permanent searchable record. These are stored as markdown files following the aigenskills.io open standard. The next time it encounters a similar task, it queries its own library of skill documents and retrieves the successful steps it took before. It builds procedural memory over time, getting more capable the more you use it. Beyond memory, Hermes Agent provides persistent dedicated machine access across 5 backends: local, Docker, SSH, Singularity for high-performance computing, and Modal for serverless execution. You can start a long-running job on a remote server, close your laptop, and come back later. The agent maintains terminal state and tracks file system changes independently. It ships with over 40 built-in skills covering MLOps, GitHub workflows, diagramming, and more. And it creates new skills on the fly as it works. You can reach it through Telegram, Discord, Slack, WhatsApp, or the CLI, and even start a conversation on one platform and continue it on another. It's powered by Hermes 3, based on Llama 3.1, trained using Nous's reinforcement learning framework called Anthropic, which specifically targets tool calling accuracy and long-range planning. And it's model agnostic. You can point it at any provider through OpenRouter or your own inference endpoint. The memory problem is the reason most production agent deployments quietly fail. Short demos look incredible because the context is clean. Production runs fall apart because the context window becomes a landfill of accumulated noise. The signal-to-noise ratio degrades, and the model hasn't changed. The environment around it has. Naive fixes don't work well. Truncation drops early instructions. Summarization loses the specific thresholds and edge cases that matter. Sliding windows are better but still guess about what to keep. What Nous is doing with Hermes Agent is structurally different. Instead of trying to make long contexts work, they're extracting the valuable parts of completed work into a separate, persistent knowledge base that survives across sessions. The agent builds institutional knowledge about your specific code base, your infrastructure, your preferences, and that knowledge compounds. For small teams running agents continuously, this changes the economics. An agent that remembers what it learned last week about your deployment pipeline doesn't burn tokens rediscovering the same information. It doesn't make the same mistake twice. And because it follows the agent skills.io open standard, those skill documents are portable. They're not locked into Nous's ecosystem. Any agent that reads the same format can benefit. The thing to watch is adoption velocity. The GitHub repo is live now, it's Python, and it's extensible. If developers start contributing custom skills and those skills get shared through the aigenskills.io standard, you could see a network effect, agents getting collectively smarter from the community's pooled experience. Whether that happens depends on whether the memory system actually works as well in the wild as it does in the announcement. The code is open, people will test it fast. So Nous Research is solving the problem of agents that forget. Anthropic, meanwhile, is going after a different gap: agents that can't see. Specifically, agents that can't look at a graphical user interface, understand what's on screen, and take action by clicking buttons, filling out forms, and navigating menus the way a human would. And they just made a significant acquisition to get there faster. Yesterday, Anthropic announced it has acquired Vercept, a Seattle-based startup that built Vi, a computer use agent that could operate a remote Mac desktop by seeing and understanding screen elements the way a human does. Financial terms were not disclosed, but we know Vercept had raised over $50 million in total, including a $16 million seed round in January 2025 that valued the company at $67 million post-money. Vercept was founded by researchers from the Allen Institute for AI, AI2, one of the most respected AI research organizations in the country. The co-founders include Kiana Asani, who led robotics and embodied AI research at AI2, Luca Ways, a former AI2 research manager focused on agents and reinforcement learning, and Ross Gershik, a well-known computer vision researcher who previously worked at Meta AI. The company's angel investor list reads like an AI Hall of Fame: former Google CEO Eric Schmidt, DeepMind chief scientist Jeff Dean, Cruise founder Kyle Vogt, and Dropbox co-founder Arash Ferdowsi. Notably, a fourth co-founder, Matt Dike, who led major AI2 projects including Molmo and Objaverse, left Vercept in mid-2025 after Meta reportedly offered him $250 million over 4 years to join its superintelligence lab. Oren Etzioni, the founding head of AI2 and an early Vercept co-founder and investor, is also not joining Anthropic and was reportedly unhappy about the acqui-hire terms. 3 co-founders and the 9-person team are joining Anthropic. Vercept's Vi app will shut down on March 25, giving customers 30 days to migrate. This is only Anthropic's second acquisition ever. The first was the startup behind Bun, the JavaScript runtime, back in December. The timing matters. Just 2 days before this acquisition, Anthropic held a major enterprise event unveiling new plugins for Claude Cowork, their product that turns Claude into a desktop agent capable of operating Excel, PowerPoint, Google Drive, Gmail, DocuSign, and dozens of other enterprise tools. Claude's computer use capabilities already hit a 72.5% success rate on the OS World benchmark. Vercept's team is being brought in to push that number higher. Most AI agents today operate through code, CIA's APIs, function calls. That's powerful, but it leaves out the vast majority of software that people actually use. Enterprise workers live in spreadsheets, email clients, CRM dashboards, and document editors. If you want AI to automate real office work, the agent needs to see the screen and use it. That's why Anthropic is building on 2 fronts simultaneously. Claude Code handles the command line. Claude Cowork, combined with Vercept's computer vision expertise, handles the GUI. Together they cover the full surface area of how humans interact with computers. The market is already reacting. When Anthropic announced the Cowork Enterprise plugins earlier this week, UiPath shares dropped 3.6%. A software industry ETF fell nearly 6% in a single day. Thomson Reuters had its biggest single-day stock drop on record, falling almost 16%. LegalZoom sank nearly 20%. The market is pricing in the possibility that AI agents operating GUIs could displace large categories of enterprise software and the human workflows built around them. Anthropic is betting that computer use is moving from research demo to production capability. The Vercept acquisition is them putting money behind that bet. Watch for how quickly Vercept's technology shows up in Claude's computer use capabilities. The 30-day shutdown window for Vi suggests Anthropic wants to integrate fast. The real test is whether computer use becomes reliable enough for enterprises to trust it with production workflows, not just demos but actual daily operations. At 72% accuracy, you still fail roughly 1 in 4 tasks. Vercept's team was hired to close that gap. How far they get in the next 6 months will tell us a lot. Agents that remember and agents that see. These are the building blocks that turn AI from a chatbot into a coworker. The question for the next 12 months is whether that coworker is reliable enough to trust with work that actually matters. If you want to stay on top of how that plays out, subscribe. We cover AI and tech news daily. See you in the next one.